Ball. We'll be back with more.
Hi, hello, and welcome back to ESPN's Inside Baseball. I'm George Grand. Some major milestones for two of baseball's most familiar names over the last 20 years. As Reggie Jackson moved into the number 8 position on the all-time home run list, and Larry Bowa announced his retirement after one of baseball's best fielding shortstops. For Jackson, on Monday, he moved into a tie for the number 8 position with his 521st home run. Then here, off lefty Bill Kruger, came number 522. That moved him past Ted Williams and Willie McCovey. Reggie can appreciate the company he's in. When we caught up with him at Fenway, he had this reaction.
I'm a Ted Williams fan, Teddy Ball Game, as he was known here in Boston. And many people say the greatest hitter that ever lived, and I'm certainly not going to dispute it. And if you can mention Ted Williams' name along with Henry Aaron and Babe Ruth and Willie Mays, then baby, that's pretty good company.
Pretty good company is right. 522 career home runs for Reggie Jackson, and he says it so well, too. The home runs are important, and the list is important, but right now he wants that pennant and a shot at the World Series once again. While Reggie sets his sights on Jimmy Fox, next on the list with 534 round trippers, veteran shortstop Larry Bowa announced that he was retiring after 16 years of setting fielding records with the Phils and the Cubs.
I gave 100% every game I played, and I'm really happy the way things turned out for me personally. Records, all-star games, Golden Gloves. It's been a great career for me, and there's something I can look back on and say it was a lot of fun.
He always got the best out of the ability that he had, a record for National Leaguers at shortstop in games played, and I don't think we've seen the last of Larry Bowa. He very definitely is managerial fodder for the future in Major League Baseball activity. We'll be taking a look at the American League next, as Cal Ripken had a milestone week of his own when we return to Inside Baseball. While their leads have been shrinking, both the Toronto Blue Jays and the California Angels hold on to the top spots in the American League as we begin play this week. The Blue Jays are going to be on the road for the next 10 days, and they begin the week with a 5-game bulge over the red-hot Yankees.
In the Eastern Division, Toronto continues to lead the way thanks to their fine pitching staff and team balance. A big surprise has been Tom Filer, who has a 6-0 record after beating the Royals on Sunday.
We have a pretty nice group of guys here. They're all, amicable, and I take a liking to them, and I'm sure they have a little feelings for me too. I pitched well in spring training. I showed them what I could do, and I just hope they accept me for what I can do.
In the American League West, the Royals are still trailing the Angels, but the race is far from over. Steve Balboni's bat has begun to heat up. He now has 25 homers.
I'm happy with the home runs. I think I could be doing a little bit better with guys on base. I don't think my average is too good with guys in scoring position, but it's been getting better, and we're scoring a lot more runs as a team, so it takes a lot of pressure off.
Let's take a look at the standings. The Angels with a 500 week this past week. Lost a little bit of ground to Kansas City. The Royals 2.5 games back. Oakland starts the week 5 games back. Incidentally, Texas, they've lost 5 straight. Their next win will be the 1,000th since their move to Texas. Over in the East, Toronto's Al Oliver picked up his 2,721st career hit. That tied him with Gehrig this past weekend. The Yankees start a road trip to California, Seattle, and Oakland. It's a crucial one for them after a 5-1 week. Nelson Simmons, 6-game hitting streak for the Tigers. Mike Young of Baltimore, he's been red hot. They've won 5 straight. He has 9 home runs in the last 13 games. And Boston, they've lost 8 of 9 and 9 of 11. Among the leaders in the American League, in hitting, Wade Boggs, George Brett, Ricky Henderson continue to pound away at each other for the major statistic of batting average. In home runs, Carlton Fisk tied an AL record this past week with 3 intentional walks and 1 9-inning game. He continues to lead in homers. In RBIs, Mattingly, with a total of 98, also has a 16-game hitting streak on the line to start the week. He's hit in 47 of his last 51 games. And Henderson with 54 steals, better than Gary Pettis, who's next with 37. In pitching, Guidry at 16-4 sets the pace there. Brett Saberhagen is next at 14-5. Dave Steve with 2.23 ERA, a shade better than his teammate. Jimmy Key at 2.82. In strikeouts, Blyleven sets the pace with 151. And in saves, Quiz 3 better than Willie Hernandez in that category. Baltimore Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. passed a couple of major milestones this past week. On the same evening that he picked up his 100th career home run, he also played in his 5,000th consecutive inning. He's truly a throwback to the days when everybody played 9.
Cal Ripken is tougher than a $2 steak. Game after game, inning after inning, Baltimore's 24-year-old shortstop never comes out of the Birds lineup. The beauty of Ripken is that you can always find out what he did the night before by checking the box scores. His name is always there. Batting third and playing short should be written in stone rather than ink. In a day and age when some players sit down because of colds or headaches, they'd have to carry Ripken out on his shield. The last time he didn't play was the '82 season, a year in which he was in 160 games.
Well, I have a great deal of pride in the fact that I can go out there and play every day. I enjoy playing. I enjoy being the one out there in the lineup. I figure someone's going to have to play. 9 innings are going to have to be played anyway. I want to be in the lineup. It just boils down to if the game's out of hand, if we're losing 10-0, and I'm swinging the bat very well, I want to go up there and get that other at-bat or that 2 at-bats because I'm swinging the bat well. Now, if I'm not swinging the bat well and I'm still out there and it's the same type game, 11-1 or something in the 8th inning, I want to go up there and get in the bat. Maybe I can experiment and find something in my swing that's going to help me the next game. So I see no need in really coming out in the middle of a ball game.
Cal Ripken Jr., a mixture of strength, speed, and scrap iron. This is John Gregg for Inside Baseball.
The National League is up next, and still to come, a tribute to a minor league record and a major league man. Tommy Lasorda's Blue Bloods now have an 8-game lead over their Western Division foes.
In the National League West, the Dodgers continue to lead the pack. Bob Welch has returned from the injured list, and his presence has made the Dodgers pitching staff baseball's best right now.
All I can do is go out there from the start to the end and give it the most I possibly can from the finish or from the beginning until whenever I come out of the ball game. And after that, we have 10 guys. I'm just a part of that, and I'm just happy to be a part of what I think is a very, very good pitching staff.
In the Eastern Division, the Mets are getting a big lift from scrappy second baseman Wally Backman. They're saying he has a little bit of Charlie Hustle in him.
If there was any one man that I'd watched play the game and wanted to play it like, it would have been Pete, just the way that he played. I was raised to play the game hard all the time, and by watching Pete play, that's the only way that I'd ever known the game that should be played. I just believe if you can't go out there and give 110% every day you're out there, you shouldn't be playing a game.
And Wally's been giving his 100%, so the Mets and the Cardinals with identical 70 and 40th place. Incidentally, Gary Carter missed 2 games this past weekend with strained muscles in his neck. You know the Mets can't afford to lose him. Montreal starts the week 4 games back, and the Chicago Cubs have now lost 12 of their last 14. Phillies may be coming out of it. They had 40 hits against the Cubs this past weekend. Over in the West, the Dodgers with that 5-2 week continue to set the pace. Reds and Padres both 8 games back in the Western Division. Among the hitting leaders in the National League, Willie McGee at 361 continues to set the pace over his teammate Tommy Herr. Dale Murphy now with 33 home runs, 5 better than Pedro Guerrero. Murph sets the pace in ribbies, too, with a total of 88. That's 3 better than Cincinnati's Dave Parker. And Vince Coleman run away with the stolen base crown so far, 82. Timmy Raines is next with 48. Among the pitching leaders in the National League, Joaquin Andujar failed to get his 20th this past weekend, gave it a good run, though. Dwight Gooden at 18 wins is close behind. Gooden with a 1.82 ERA sets the pace there, just ahead of John Tudor. Gooden with 192 Ks, 20 better than Nolan Ryan. And in saves, Reardon picked up a tough one this weekend, now has 31. Smith is next with a total of 24. One quick look at the standings in the National League will tell you this has not been the best of the year for Jim Davenport and the San Francisco Giants. Mired in last place in the West, they are in danger of becoming the first Giant team ever to lose 100 games in a season. Look at some of the major milestones of this past week in Major League Baseball when we return to ESPN's Inside Baseball. In addition to the major milestones of Reggie Jackson and Larry Bowa's retirement, there were some other major marks this past week. Reggie Jackson's teammate Rod Carew moved past Al Kaline to the 14th place all-time on the hit list, of course now over the 3,000 mark. Gary Matthews of the Chicago Cubs, who's had an injury-riddled season, still managed to pick up his 1,000th run score this past week. And Freddie Lynn, now toiling for the Baltimore Orioles, picked up career hit number 1,500. The St. Louis Cardinals continue to run away with records as they head towards what they hope will be a pennant year in St. Louis. The Cardinals, for 4 straight years now, have stolen 200 bases or more. That best record and ties one that was set back in the early 1900s. Also, Pete Rose, he now is within 15 hits of breaking Ty Cobb's record of 4,191 base hits. And with Rose at home in Cincinnati between now and September the 1st, chances are he'll break it before the home fans. After 59 years of riding herd over Yankee Stadium's baseball clubhouse, 75-year-old Pete Sheehy passed away this past week. Some of you never heard of Pete Sheehy. Most of you never met him. But anyone who did will tell you he epitomized what was good of New York Yankee tradition. He was a Yankee through and through, from his first day on the job to his last.
I was going to come up and sit in the bleachers and watch the ball game, see? And I stood outside the clubhouse watching the players walking in, see? Before they opened the gates. And this old fellow, Fred Logan, who had been here for years and years, and later on at years, he came out and he says to me, "Hey, son," he says, "you're going to the game?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "You want to save your money? Want to come and give me a hand, save your money?" I said, "Save my 50 cents for the bleach." I was like, "I don't mind." He said, "Come on in." See? I come in, I went and helped him in the clubhouse, see? Then he says, "Can you be here?" It was the summertime, and the school was closed and all that. And he says, "Can you be here tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Good. I've been here since."
And ever since, all the Yankee greats have come to know Pete Sheehy as a friend. After 59 years at the stadium, who did Pete think was the greatest Yankee of them all?
Joe D was perfect. He was absolutely perfect.
Why?
He did everything right. He never could find anything wrong with his playing or hitting or anything. He was just absolutely out of this world.
Joe D was perfect, but in the house that Ruth built, it was the Babe who was the dominant personality for Pete Sheehy.
Well, one day he came in here, he was bundled up and very, very hoarse. You could see he was very, very sick. And he sat right in this spot right here. And I saw him sign a few autographs for people that bothered him. And he went out on the field and he talked a little, but very, very, very hoarse. And a few days later, he was gone.
The Yankees have had some great moments, but they've always had some sad moments,
Sad moments, too, yes.
Most people would get Henry Aaron and Willie Mays. Many forget what a great all-around baseball player Frank Robinson was, and certainly Reggie Jackson in his early years was quite a base stealer. Mickey Mantle was there for the home runs, but his legs prevented him from that 200 stolen base total for his career. You know, for every individual who participates in Major League Baseball at the major league level, there are scores of others who never make it, both athletes, players, and managers and coaches who toil in the minor leagues for years and never get a chance to perform in the majors. If you're ever looking for a story that epitomizes the role of a career minor leaguer, it's Stan Wozniak. After 36 years of managing, Stan made the record books in a big way this past week with his 2,497th career victory. Steve Yavner has more for Inside Baseball.
He arrived in royal style. More than 4,000 fans jammed Holman Stadium to pay tribute to Stan Wozniak, the newly crowned king of the minors. The Vero Beach Dodger manager compiled career victory number 2,497 this week.
We'd also like to say what a pleasure it is not only to play for the great Dodger organization, but also to play for the #1 manager of all time.
The team presented him with a bat and a bicycle, and even the brass from L.A. was in Vero Beach.
If I had a son who had professional ability, I would want to have him start for Stanley in the professional baseball.
Thursday night, when Stan's Vero Beach Dodgers beat the West Palm Beach Expos 11-2, he broke the record held by Bob Coleman and won his 2,497th game. Only Major League legends Connie Mack and John McGraw have won more games than Wozniak.
Congratulations.
And all the ball players, my ball players, without them, no way that I would be here. They're all professionals, believe me, folks, and they try to entertain you as bestly as they can. Believe me, they want to reach that goal, which I was never fortunate to get. And in closing, I want to say one thing, as the immortal Lou Gehrig said. I think I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Thank you, and God bless you.
The evening culminated with an appearance by the U.S. skydiving team, who parachuted into the stadium in the shape of a giant W. With the king of the minors in Vero Beach, Florida, this is Steve Yavner reporting for Inside Baseball.
And certainly the game of baseball and the Los Angeles Dodgers organization has been very lucky to have Stan as part of its operation over the last 36 years as a manager. Also, our congratulations to Dennis Leonard, who's on the mend and working his way back to the major leagues. He's working for the Royals down in their minor league complex at Fort Myers, Florida. We'll be tracking his development. Hopefully, that'll wind up back in the major leagues before this season is over as well. I'm George Grant. Thanks for joining us on this week's ESPN's Inside Baseball.